Over the past week, the Hawkeye Wrestling Club has been announcing these big matches to go down at their first big live event at the Hawkeye Wrestling Club Showdown Open, held on November 1st by Track Wrestling. So in this video, I'm going to tell you all the matches, but more specifically, the 5 big matches that you should be watching. So what is this event? How did it start? And why should you be looking forward to it? So the Hawkeye Wrestling Club Showdown Open, the name is a little bit long, but really, to be honest with you, I commend the Hawkeye Wrestling Club for actually coming up with a name for this event. I mean, this is something that I've just said that Flow Wrestling just needs to learn to name some of their events. And then if Hawkeye Wrestling Club has this again, they could name it the Showdown Open 2, the Showdown Open 3. They could keep going like that, kind of like the UFC cards. I think that's a great way to go about it. But anyway, I digress. Back to the topic at hand. This is going down on November 1st because Tom Brands and the rest of the Hawkeyes kind of felt slighted that they didn't get any invites to any of these other events. They didn't get the invite to the July 25th card by Flow Wrestling. They didn't get the invite to the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club event on Rockfin. So they're like, you know what? We're just going to put on our own event. And because of that, we got some actually really exciting matches that you should be looking forward. They're trying to one-up everybody else, and they may have done it. They really may have done it. We have some great upcoming matches, and I'm going to pull up this main card right here. These are every single card, every single match that's going to be happening on November 1st. So we have some really great events that are going to be going down, and listen, just to start and get into our honorable mention of the event, which I'm counting down to the best 5, I really think that the main card, the main event of the night, which is Spencer Lee versus Zach Sanders, I really don't think that's one of the most interesting matches, to be honest with you. I really don't think that's one of the most interesting matches to be seen here. Spencer Lee, multiple-time NCAA champ. Sanders, a 4-time All-American. So we both have some great credentials. Obviously, Spencer Lee is the guy right now at Iowa. And Tom Brands actually said in an interview over with the Stalemates Wrestling channel, he was talking about how everybody wanted Spencer Lee, but they didn't want anybody else. And he's like, well, we have a lot more to offer. And they're kind of showing that here, that there is a lot more to offer here. Now, Sanders is somebody who he's had some great kind of domestic success, even some international success in freestyle, but I think Spencer Lee is going to be somebody who just kind of tears him apart. So that moves us into our 5th most exciting match, and this is, you may disagree with me here, and please leave your comments down below if you do disagree, but Tony Cassioppi versus Nick Gwiazdowski. Now, Nick Gwiazdowski is pretty much, I mean, he's the U.S. heavyweight, that he's been the guy, he's been the U.S. heavyweight, the guy that you need to be watching out for over the past few years for Team USA. But Tony Cassioppi is a guy who's kind of up and coming. Finished his freshman season at Iowa, a great season, even with his losses to Mason Paris and Gable Steveson, who are 2 other great heavyweights on the up-and-coming and will be on the up-and-coming path at the Olympic trials upcoming. But we get to see how Cassioppi stacks up against Nick Gwiazdowski. We will see exactly how Cassioppi is going to stack up against a senior-level guy like Nick Gwiazdowski, who's a multiple-time world medalist and has had some great international success. I think that's the biggest thing here, is we get to see how he is going to stack up. And that brings us on to the fourth big event that I think is that you need to be watching out for, and that's Alex Marinelli versus James Green. These are two studs. James Green has been on the path for many years and is somebody who usually gets a nod at many of these events. You see James Green on a lot of these cards, and it's kind of cool to see him. And it makes sense because he's a multiple-time world medalist, represented the USA multiple times in great fashion. Marinelli has had an unbelievable career thus far. Could have qualified, or he qualified for the national championships, but could have won a national title, his first national title this upcoming season. We'll still see, he still has a shot at this in his senior year, but he is somebody now with a great year. We'll see how he does against James Green. How is Marinelli going to transfer over to freestyle? Is he going to be the same bull that he is in folk style, or is there going to be some change, some differences? We'll see. On the 3rd big match to be looking out for is going to be Pat Lugo and Matt Kolodzik. These are 2 guys who were unfortunately very slighted and just had an unfortunate end to their careers because of the NCAA championships being canceled this year, but both were on a tear this upcoming season. Of course, Kolodzik pulled his Olympic red shirt, unfortunately, at the end of his season and was going to try to win that national title. And Pat Lugo is another guy who had a great season. One loss, I believe, on his season. But other than that, he was the top-ranked guy coming into his weight class at Nationals. And both of these guys, seeing them go head-to-head is going to be great. We saw Lugo compete earlier this summer against Luke Pletcher, which he had a great match against him. So Pat Lugo is really getting some great freestyle matches under his belt. These two have wrestled before in college. So back in 2019, Kolodzik actually beat Lugo, beat him actually and then Lugo actually beat him at Midlands the previous year. So they both have wins and losses to each other in the past. So we'll see how this ends up stacking out in freestyle. The number 2 biggest match to look out for is Austin DeSanto and Bryce Meredith. Now, man, this is slightly, I mean, this could be my favorite match. This may go down as one of my favorite matches. I love watching both of these guys wrestle. I think both of these guys are studs, and Bryce Meredith is somebody who's very funky, who has a lot of, I mean, he's just able to roll with the punches and do some crazy stuff. We saw him in that match with Yanni in the NCAA championships and just some of his other matches, but Bryce Meredith can roll with anything, and seeing him go against Austin DeSanto, who we'll see how he does in freestyle. You know, it's another transition for a different Hawkeye, and seeing how Austin DeSanto does. I don't know if he wants to continue in freestyle, if the Olympics are his goal. I don't know that, but we'll see if he ends up making that transition in the upcoming season. But right now, as Meredith is making that transition, he's had some great success in freestyle on his own. So we'll see how these two do against each other. I'm sure we're going to see some sparks fly with these two. And as far as the best match, and again, like I said, it's not the headliner. It's not the Spencer Lee and Sanders match. I think it's going to be Jaden Ironman versus Vladimir Konchikashvili. Konchikashvili is somebody who just wrestled in the Beat the Streets event against Yanni Diakomalis. He has a win against Yanni. So a great match there. He's somebody who's not to be overlooked, an Olympic and world medalist. And I think this is really the reason why that it's going to be the best, because Jaden Ironman is somebody multiple-time All-American, a brand new Hawkeye, so we'll get to see him representing the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. But I think the reason that I believe this is the biggest match of the event is because we're going to see how Ironman stacks up against Konchikashvili. Is he going to be able to stack up against him as well as Yanni did? Or is he going to have some more troubles with him? This could be very telling for the upcoming 2021 season, and that's why it's my favorite match at this event. Now, please let me know in the comments what your favorite upcoming match is going to be for the Hawkeye Wrestling Club Showdown. This, of course, goes down on November 1st and on Track Wrestling, so make sure you catch it live there. If you're looking for some more Fanco wrestling, you can check out these links right here.